War has inspired most Americans to put aside their political differences and unite behind the people of Ukraine. It has not stopped some progressive pundits from tying the war to domestic issues.
Today, the average gas price in America hit an all-time record high of over $4 per gallon. I'm willing to pay $4 a gallon. Hell, I'll pay $15 a gallon because I drive a Tesla.
Perhaps if you let the market work in this respect, people will feel pain. They'll take a second look at that Ford F-450 gigantoid truck.
We have to move to clean energy solutions. Clean is, in the end, where we should be so that we don't find ourselves in this position again.
Stephen Colbert willing to pay $15 for gas. I'm sure he is on that multi-million-dollar salary. John Kerry also saying the mass refugee crisis happening in Ukraine right now is nothing compared to our future climate change problems.
If you think migration has been a problem in Europe from the Syrian war, or even from what we see now, when do you see 100 million people for whom the entire food production capacity has collapsed?
Pete, never let a crisis go to waste. It is all about climate.
Yes, it is. And you know what? They're being honest. They welcome the pain. They want the prices. And now they get to wrap it in a so-called patriotic duty. It's like their new mask or the new black square. It's their new opportunity to virtue signal with the Ukrainian flag while then saying, oh, by the way, gas prices are at $6 and it's all Putin's fault. And as a result, you should now buy into our green new fantasies, when it's those very fantasies that created the kind of dependency and conditions we're in right now, which have helped lead to that. So it is exactly who they are and what they believe.
Cassie, that's right. They want you to pay more. Look, we don't have to be paying $15 for gas, or, right now it's like $4 or $5, but you don't have to pay that. We can embargo Russian oil and unleash domestic energy. That is not great midterm messaging there from Colbert.
Right. Well, Kayleigh, the liberal elite echo chamber is deafeningly loud, and it's drowning out these cries and complaints from Americans who are saying, I can't afford your policy. I don't want your policy. Your policy is crippling my pocketbook, my business, my community, our local economy. And to your point about the midterms, they will pay for that. Because all of this is, at the end of the day, for Democrats, just them trying to get their policies through. As Pete mentioned, whether it was COVID, and now here we are with gas and foreign policy. This is all in the big picture about getting their socialist agenda through. And Americans aren't buying it because it's hurting us. And that's where they're going to feel the pain. There's a poll just out, I think, Wall Street Journal, within the last day or so. 50% of Americans say inflation is my #1 concern right now. And as long as Democrats try and make this about something else, they will lose not just the hearts and minds, but the votes of the American people as well.
No doubt. Meanwhile, Joy Reid has some thoughts on all this. Let's listen.
Oh, good.
Coverage of Ukraine has revealed a pretty radical disparity in how human Ukrainians look and feel to Western media compared to their browner and blacker counterparts, with some reporters using very telling comparisons in their analyses of the war.
I mean, Carly, why? I can't believe I have to explain this. But this is a war about an attack on 43 million innocent people being attacked by a former KGB madman with nuclear weapons. That's what this is about. And there was also a similar discussion that Gayle King had on her show, where they started to talk about how Ukrainian refugees are being treated better than people who are crossing our southern border, trying to make our country seem racist and unwelcoming. We'll then explain how we were so welcoming when Afghan refugees were coming into our country. Not everything has to be about race, and not everything has to be about America is evil, and this war is certainly an example of not fitting the bill on that regard. But for liberals, of course, everything has to be about Trump. Let's listen to Whoopi Goldberg.
Bonehead had been president. And I say what I said last time. No, there wouldn't have been any issue, because that guy would have handed Ukraine over to the Russians.
Except we had a 4-year experiment of President Trump, and there was no invasion.
Right. Last time I checked, this invasion happened under someone else's watch. And that is just one more example to me as well of minimalizing what is occurring in that situation. And then we have that same explosive, hyperbolic rhetoric about what happens here. So we have MSNBC host Chuck Todd saying that he was stunned by, when the president gave his State of the Union address, his failure to essentially equate the fight for democracy and freedom abroad, to connect it with the fight for democracy and freedom at home, probably because there is nothing similar similar about the two. To your point, Carly, I think it's pretty clear that one is facing an existential crisis minute by minute with a potential for escalation into a global war, and then one is about Democrats crying about Republicans' rampant suppression of votes. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to think that the connection of those two would be in any way logical, but that's what you get from the left. That's what you get from the mainstream media.
Yeah, I mean, we end where we began. Never let a crisis go to waste. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.